shit. Sorry, guys. I freaking broke a glass. God damn it. What a start to the show. Ooh. Woo. What the fuck? Hey, what's going on? Happy Thursday, Clinton. Skull to the bowl. What a great offseason we've had. The excitement is palpable, at least with me. I hope you're doing great, man. Today we are hanging out. We're going to be just chilling. Holy crap, running upstairs. Good Lord. Anyways, let's get right to it. I want to, we're going to chill out a little bit. I'm going to go over some more important today is hot take review because, man, Colin Cowherd is up to it again. Let's get right into it, guys, because it's got me twisted, and it needs to be talked about. I couldn't find the exact podcast where this is from, so we're gonna head over to our good friends over at Vikings Now, and we will get a rundown. Old Pat is gonna let us know what Colin said. Let me full screen that. Here we go.
All right, so I want to focus in here on this quote, and specifically the part where he says, have you ever seen JJ McCarthy's fourth quarter college stats and playing from behind? They're terrible. That's just not true. It is the complete opposite, actually. Now, JJ barely trailed in his college career. Yes, Michigan.
All right, I don't want to watch too much of the video because I don't want to get copyrighted, and Pat does a great job breaking this down. He's got some really good insights to why Colin has this negative kind of connotation or feel towards our Minnesota Vikings that is definitely unwarranted. And I think he's definitely sniffed out the reason why Colin is such a jackass when it comes to our Minnesota Vikings. But like he said there, it doesn't sound like Colin has any faith in JJ McCarthy at all. I don't understand where the animosity is because, like, Mr. Seeps over here mentions a little bit later in the video, before the NFL draft going into, before we drafted JJ, he said specifically, whoever the Minnesota Vikings quarterback is, that's who is going to be the second best producing or the second best quarterback out of that draft after Caleb Williams. That was his prediction. And then all of a sudden, like Pat mentions here, his tune twists, and changes since then. And he just wants to keep talking smack about our boy. And you know what I mean? And it's something that's quite annoying as a Vikings fan, and we're kind of it's expected already by us, but it is what it is. And Colin's entitled his opinion, however wrong it may be. But what gets me about this is, like, everybody's going to say their own take about why he's wrong, or maybe they even validate, oh, he's 1,000% right. He never had to prove anything in college. It was everybody else. Blah 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 blah. Yada yada yada. We've heard it all. But when I think about it as a trainer, like I said, I worked as a trainer for a long time, and for a call center. And when you see people develop, the flaws or the weaknesses that they have at the beginning aren't a reflection of where they are or where they're going to be, right? So there have been plenty of brand new employees that have hit the phones where from day one of training, I was like, this person is going to struggle. I would be surprised if they made it, past a week on the phone. And, 2-3 years later, out of that same recruitment class, they're one of the few remaining people that are still holding the job down and have improved immensely throughout their experience and their time working, right? So it's just an example of how people progress in life, right? And JJ McCarthy may have had some blunders in some college games where he didn't play the greatest from behind and even lost some games from behind. but that's not an indication of how he's going to perform going forward. Those situations, those experiences, in my opinion, are going to be the things that are going to motivate him to not let that stuff happen in the future. So since then, there's been a lot of time. I bet you those situations and those weaknesses that he's probably even identified way sooner than any one of us or even any one of his critics are going to identify. He's probably been working on that for a long time and developing that relationship with learning and progress and development to where we see the flashes and what he's going to become, right? Going up to the end of his college career. I mean, not like right now in preseason and whatnot, but I'm talking about like all the way up to that, right? So, you know what? I'm gonna give JJ the benefit of the doubt, and I think it's a quite misguided take to take something from a young quarterback's learning days as explosive or as awesome as it turned out with a title rate. But things change, and just like when Patrick Mahomes got drafted, and I remember him taking over for Alex Smith and him speed walking up to the huddle and in between plays, thinking, "Who is this guy? What is he even going to do?" And having my doubts. But look at him now. He's one of the best, and probably he's going to go down as one of the greatest in this era, if not the greatest of this era, right? So, interesting thoughts. But we're going to move on. That was the first little mini take that I wanted to go over because I thought it was kind of stupid to kind of base a whole judgment on something that he's clearly been worked on. And on top of that, think about the coaching staff, think about KOC, think about the quarterback room, how they have analyzed and broken down everything from JJ's game from college up to where he's at now, and have put him through the ringer and have been, when not been able to physically perform and do physical practice, of course, after his surgeries and whatnot, he was hitting the books. He was in those meetings. He was on the sidelines. You know what I mean? So I'm sure they were guiding him and keeping things focused and fresh so that he can keep progressing and avoid those things and improving in those weaknesses that Colin Cowherd is staking his ground on and his case on. So we'll move on. We'll move on to another hot take from Colin, because this one we'll let the man speak for himself. Here we go.
I'm going to still stick with my prediction that JJ McCarthy will, if he does have success, it's a little bit of a Brock Purdy thing. It's the coach, it's the left tackle, it's the weapons that will put him in a place that I think elevates him beyond what he would be with average personnel, average coach, or bad. I don't think Brock Purdy's good enough to save a bad situation, but I think in the current situation with Trent Williams, Kittle, Jennings, Shanahan, McCaffrey, I think more than capable. I tend to think McCarthy is going to fall into that.
That's essentially what he had to say. And, I think that's I think some people would think that's an astute kind of like assessment or analysis. Ooh, he's cooking, he's peeling the layers back. But when you really look at this take, in my opinion, it's quite a superficial take. You're just looking at something that's extremely similar, because we keep looking and referring to the Vikings as, San Fran 2.0. We've kind of built this, we've taken their formula and made it better, etc., yada, yada, yada. And so you're kind of taking a look at these things and be like, oh, you know what? They got basically the same setup as San Fran. So how is this not Brock Purdy, right? Let's look at Brock Purdy's college career compared to JJ's, which we know totaled ended with a college title, which then right there shows a better pedigree, or just a better career, a better resume, collegiate career at least. So let's talk about Brock Purdy's college career, right? So he did pretty good. He came in for an injured Nolan Kemp, or Zeb Nolan, right? And he did pretty good, 146 out of 220 passes for 2,250 yards, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Not bad for coming in, in the situation, compiling a 7-2 record for the Cyclones that year. So unreal performance. So it's not like he's terrible either. He's got an arm. We've seen as a Vikings fan. I remember there was a play last year where we were in the fourth quarter, and it seemed like our pass rush was like just had him scrambling. He scrambled all the way almost to the sideline and somehow got a pass off to Jennings, or I forget who it was, but it was like the most ridiculous play. It was Russell Wilson-esque, but without the athleticism, if that makes sense. But it was a beautiful pass and he completed. So we'll give him his props, right? His sophomore year, he ended up with a record of, what was his record? 7-6. So he went, he kind of fell down to his average, right? So he regressed to the mean. And then in his junior year, he had Breece Hall. So they were able to get a dynamic running back and produce a 9-3 record. All one of these Mike Sports Vibes. Oh shit, the boys are here. I didn't even notice. I'm just ranting, boys, but thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for vibing with me, boys. But yeah, so like when we look at the totality of Brock Purdy's career, he's a slightly above average quarterback with a very talented arm, a little bit of a gunslinger with a good amount of accuracy. So how does that compare to, how does his resume and his athleticism and his intangibles compared to JJ McCarthy's? In my opinion, I feel like JJ McCarthy's is way better. Not only did his career end up with a better ending, he ended up developing and becoming a leader and identifying that how to win, because he could have easily been like, you know what, I'm going to be the diva. I know we have all these stars. We have this incredible, stable of running backs. I got this. I'm throwing for 500 yards. I'm Brett Favre. I'm the dude. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do. He wasn't like that. He shows a tremendous amount of wisdom, or at the very least, ability to listen to his coaches and just trust the process and develop in the areas that he needed to develop to help his team. And I think throughout last year and through this offseason, that's all he's been doing. So for Colin Cowherd to compare JJ McCarthy to Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy light, I think it's a gross mischaracterization of the situation, because when you really start peeling back the layers and you really start, scratching the surface, it doesn't really pass the test, in my opinion. Too superficial. I get what he's saying. He's on TV all day, every day, or every day, not all day, every day, but he's on TV and he's on YouTube all the time. So he's got to be coming up with these takes, and sometimes superficial takes is all he's got to throw out there, but this one's garbage. Let's move on. Let's take a little bit of a break and let's see what's going on. And yes, let's see what's going on in chat. Mike, I totally agree. He is mature beyond his years. Clinton, I agree. He is great under pressure. He's got great stats, completion percentage. I feel like I remember going into that draft. Let's go take a little side rant. I remember thinking we really needed a quarterback, and it was evident that we weren't going to get Caleb Williams. So it was like I didn't even bother watching any of his highlight reel, to be honest. I watched a lot of Drake May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, Bo Nix, right? So the guys that were in the mix that potentially we could either move up to get, or if somebody kind of wheeled and dealed at the deadline and we ended up having to select somebody else like Bo Nix or Penix or something like that, what we had, right? And what we could do. And out of all the quarterbacks, I remember thinking JJ McCarthy is the best for our situation. One, I was really impressed with his accuracy. Accuracy is a big thing for me. We're going to do a video. We'll probably talk about it tomorrow in tomorrow's live, where we'll go over the top. Oh no, we're actually going to go over the top quarterback tier list. So we'll talk a little bit about it. We'll dive into it, but we'll do a deeper dive. I feel like quarterback accuracy is the most important stat. I know there, pocket presence and the ability to footwork, a lot of different things are super important. But once all those other things are dialed in, the accuracy has to be something that's top tier, right? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, even though sometimes Brett Favre was trying to just thread the needle and he was gunslinging, that man was accurate. And that is the thing that gets you out of situations when you're in the Super Bowl and the NFC title game in your first playoff appearance in a decade or whatever. It gets you out of those tight situations where you really need to come up with a first down, and you need to come up with a timing route that's going to be precise where it needs to be. Tom Brady made a career on that. We have seen incredible quarterbacks over the years do that exact situation. So that's why when it came to JJ McCarthy, I thought he was a lot more accurate than all the other guys. I really like Jaden Daniels. I wasn't as sold on Jaden Daniels at the time because while I did my research, they hadn't put out that piece where they went over his work ethic. And when I saw that piece, I kind of was like, ooh, I kind of want JJ. Or I remember we had already drafted JJ, and I was kind of like, Jaden Daniels may have been pretty damn good too, so we could have gone with him. And so it's kind of like a little bit having a little bit of missing out kind of there, but I still felt like JJ McCarthy was the dude for me, and he had all those things. Drake May, there's a lot of plays that Drake May in the scrambling and in the throwing, the receiver adjusted a lot. And if he didn't throw it behind the receiver or with bad timing or in a bad position, those defenders would have made a play on the ball because they were making a play on the ball where they thought the ball would be. And because Drake threw it behind or too low or wherever it was, the receiver made an incredible play. And I was like, that happened a lot. And I was like, I don't know about him. And there's a lot of refinement in his passing that I was like, I don't want him. And so I'm glad that the Patriots got him, but he's still exciting. Don't get me wrong. But JJ McCarthy was the dude for me. I really am impressed with his ability to perform and this year. Let's take a quick moment. Yeah. Lefty, what's going on, boys? Thanks for hanging out. B-Flow is definitely a godsend while this ad plays here. And man, he is unreal, man. I think the key is the secret sauce, the secret ingredient that we have as Vikings fans or in the organization is that insight that Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores have for being inside the building, inside the organization behind closed doors for that Patriots dynasty, right? So they got to witness, KOC got to witness Tom Brady. It's probably why he's the quarterback whisperer. You know what I mean? Like, when you can't do, you teach. And he took all the lessons that Tom Brady taught him and he learned through watching him in his process. And now he's teaching these guys and making the passer not look like a starter, with incredible upside. So that's a key factor. We also got Brian Flores with his experience during that tenure. He won a Super Bowl as a DC, right? I honestly think we're taking another step forward in our defense. I think we're in that top 2, top 1, top 3. Yeah, exactly. We're in that place. I totally agree, Clinton. We continue to move better. Like B-Flow took us from a projected 28th out of 32 defense and brought us to 16th at the end of the season. That's an incredible jump with just scheme alone and with the same freaking garbage defenders that Ed Donatel had thrown out there, right? So incredible. And then we see what he does in the following year when he has an off season to go out and be like, yo, I want guys like this. And we bring in Van Ginkel, we bring in Jonathan Grenard, we bring in all these guys, these glue pieces that fit to his scheme and his vision to how defense should be played. On top of that experience from being part of that dynasty, come on, guys, we have We have it so made right now, and I'm so excited for this year. These guys are incredible. So let's watch this. I want to react to this. I haven't seen the joint practice highlights yet, so let's take 2 minutes and check this out. I'll try to pause a couple moments here so we don't get any copyright strikes. So let's check it out.
This will be a great opportunity to go against a talented team, a well-coached team. You know, we'll see how much they do defensively. They have a lot, and so it's always a great challenge there.
Got so much respect for Braves and our relationship over the years. A lot of familiar faces. I was looking forward to teams getting really good work.
It's a good place to work up here. That's why we came up here before in Tennessee. Good experience, excellent experience. Come back. Plus, I like the cheese curds.
Oh. Hey, watch out! He's got him. He's got him on 8 out there. Look at this guy. Ooh. Oh man, I don't care what anyone says. We have the best wide receiver in the league. You got those guys probably got some good wide receivers, but ours is just Hawk. Oh man, Hawk is gonna be the same thing, man. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, get out of here. Let's go. We vibing, boys. This freaking edit was freaking awesome. Oh, I didn't even try. I hope people get probably get the oh man. Yo, those practice highlights were awesome. Those highlights that you posted were incredible, Lefty. Man, we're looking, man, to be so stacked on offense. It's weird. It's weird for going from so stacked on offense and on defense to now being so stacked on offense and having a spectacular defense too. Ooh, it's going to be fun. Ooh, it's going to be fun. What do you guys say? Is the over under too high if we set it at 12? That was a little bit too cocky there, but you know, I honestly think, man, 11 and 12, I think we could fall forward, you know, fall into 12 wins. You know what I mean? Like, we could freaking shit the bed 5 times and still freaking come back and win sloppily and still pull up like freaking 12 wins. I feel like we're there. Yeah, definitely on paper we are. It definitely looks like a contender. I feel like that chemistry that was building from last year into this year. I feel like last year, like I was hoping the most important thing I wanted from last year is I wanted a solid season full of learning experiences, and we got that. We had a lot of situations where things just didn't go right. Things were just up and down and just did not go the way they were supposed to. And we adjusted and we learned from it. We had injuries. We did well post-injury. Incredible how well we did post-Darisaw injury. Let's be real. So like all these learning experiences, I feel I'm hoping have kind of solidified this locker room and their confidence. And this year it's just going to explode. So what do you guys think? 12 and 5, too high for the over under, or should be more realistic and say something like 11. That is still a little bit cocky. 10. Let's do the realistic. 10. Is it the far too early prediction? The over under set at 10. I think we got the over easily. So we are laughing, man. Oh man. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, the last thing I want to talk about on the live today, and thank you so much for hanging out and vibing with me. And we have the NFL quarterback tier list released. I'm more we'll kind of skip to where JJ is. I feel he's like he's where he's supposed to be, let's be real. But the top 5 and maybe the second tier. Let's see what these guys have to say.
All right, so sorry, no spoiler alert. I haven't seen the list, but I know that's what's happening. I just know it. All right, now to the list. I thought the list was really good. Now, I am higher on Stafford than most, but not than NFL GMs and front office people, because I think he's the 5th best quarterback in football. Obviously, the 3 or 4 people that had Josh Allen or Lamar as tier 2 are just out of their mind. Like that to me is not a viable opinion. Unless people are arguing Mahomes is in a tier by himself, which they should, but they're not, then Allen and Lamar have to be there with Burrow in tier 1.
Yeah.
I know there was a lot of consternation about Jalen Hurts' ranking. Listen, I would have Jalen Hurts ahead of Justin Herbert. I would rather have Jalen Hurts than Jared Goff. But aside from that, like, I don't have a problem with Jalen Hurts being high tier 2. I also think it should be noted, people are awful quiet these days. You know who we don't hear from so much anymore these days, Colin?
What?
The Brock Purdy truthers. They were chirping at you and me for quite a while. And now he's hanging on for dear life in tier 2, about to drop to tier 3 when this thing comes out next year, and you don't hear from him as much anymore. I thought this quarterback...
All right. Oh, gotta love, man. Nick Wright always trying to be that new age Skip Bayless, man, with his takes. But let's start. Aside from his stupidity, let's look at this tier 1 and tier 2. In my opinion, these top 3 guys, when it comes to a team that I would want to build, let's say these guys were year 1, year 2, you know what I mean? And I just happened to be interviewing for lucky to be interviewing for this job as a GM. Like which team would I want? If I had which quarterback? I feel like these 3 quarterbacks are interchangeable. If I was so lucky to interview for a team with Mahomes, Burrow, or Allen as a GM, I'm off to the races. I'm thinking a ton of different ways to build around, and I'm thinking of not when I'm gonna have my next Super Bowl. I'm thinking of how many, right? Lamar Jackson and Stafford. Stafford's we'll talk about Lamar in a second, but Stafford's a weird pick here, because he's like Cinderella right now. You know what I mean? Like, he's still holding on to his peak. Like, he's at the very tail end. The guy can still sling it. Let's not kid ourselves. We'll see. It's like at any time he's like, you know, like Asian ladies, they always look like they're, you know, late 30s. Like, they always look super, super young until they don't. Like, then all of a sudden the next day they wake up, they're like 52 and they just look 75. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what we're waiting for when it comes to Stafford. You know what I mean? Like, he can only hold on to this level of play for so much longer, right? And now I'm getting close to being like Rob Parker in his fucking disbelief of Tom Brady, because you never know. Stafford might end up being this good for the next 2-3 years. We never know. He might have the ability to hold on for a longer. But I feel like, you know, at some point, and like maybe this year, the year after that, mid-season, he's just gonna fall apart, and he's just gonna regress to like backup standard ability or something like that. I don't know. He's just going to fall off. He's going to regress to a point where he's not going to be able to be even, and maybe even in this top tier. Like, I feel like his drop off is going to be so fucking bad. But I love the guy. I think that I love his story, everything that's happened to him. I love that he's got a Super Bowl. He's a great thrower of the football. So for right now, I guess, yeah, maybe fringe top 5. Lamar Jackson, what I would do is I would put Lamar Jackson. I would either keep Lamar Jackson here or move him to 5, and I would move somebody up from here. I don't know. I'll let you guys decide who you think I would put up there. Maybe Baker. No, I'm joking. There's a lot of great quarterbacks here in the second tier for what they can do with their arm, but there are 2 that stand out far above the rest, in my opinion. Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. I wanted to say Jaden Hurts, but Jalen Hurts. These 2 guys, not only one side has the resume and has been doing it now for a few years. I just love the work ethic, and I like Jaden Daniels. I feel like he's Lamar Jackson 2.0. He's got that level of accuracy with the football that I wish Lamar had. And Lamar, as dynamic as and incredible as he is, he deserves to be in this top 5 regardless. That's why, for me, I think he falls. I don't know. Maybe next year he falls to 5, and then maybe we can throw Jaden Daniels or Hurts up there at 4, depending on who has a better year this year. But if my inclination or my instincts are right, I feel like Jaden Daniels might take another pretty massive leap this year. I don't see a slump for him. I think his work ethic. I know Terry McLaurin requested a trade, and there's some volatility over there, but preparation always is a huge remedy for shit like that, so if he stays focused, working hard like he does, the noise around him isn't going to matter, because he's just going to be doing the things as he's been training and practicing, right? Regardless of who. I know there's going to be an aspect of like who's catching the ball, etc., who's calling plays, but I feel like he's going to be taking a step forward. I don't see a regression from him. I do see maybe a regression from May, but it is what it is. But that's what I would put. So these 3 interchangeable. Lamar, definitely generational up there in his second. I just wish Lamar had more accuracy, because if Lamar had the accuracy that Josh Allen had, like, fuck, if he had Burrow or Mahomes level accuracy, it wouldn't even be close. You don't understand how dynamic Lamar Jackson is as an athlete, as an athlete in general. Like, if he had that accuracy, man, oh my goodness, they wouldn't have to scheme plays to make sure he's got, to avoid his weaknesses. Like, they would just give him, like, imagine, oh my goodness. And then he could run. Imagine if he could throw the football with incredible accuracy, timing like Tom Brady, and then run like Michael Vick. Oh, Jesus Christ. That would be insane to see. Maybe we'll see that 1 year. Maybe there's still a lot of time in his career. Maybe he'll develop that accuracy. But that's the reason why I kind of keep him a little bit behind these 3 guys, because I feel like their accuracy is what's going to keep them, is going to win them games in those high pressure situations in the postseason, right? So, yeah. Second tier, I'm not too upset with it. Let's fast forward so we can see what tier 3 and 4. Like I said, JJ McCarthy gets a little bit disrespected at 29 ahead of Danny Dimes, Joe Flacco, the prodigy Richardson, and Rattler. Those are the only guys JJ freaking beats. Are you kidding me? You're gonna put Penix ahead of him. You're gonna put Fields ahead of JJ McCarthy, the guy that's been in the league for so long and can't even freaking, oh my God, he can't throw up the fucking middle. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit carried away. I get a little bit passionate once the season is getting in, or as I'm gathering all my information and as I'm still real raw. But yeah, like Jesus Christ, Russell Wilson, I understand is ahead of JJ because Kirk Cousins. We'll give it to Young Williams. We'll give it to these. We'll give these three the benefit of the doubt. Darnold the benefit of the doubt, just because they've got a year ahead of them of just playing. Geno Smith. Don't get me started on Trevor Lawrence. Okay, we'll leave the Golden Kid alone. These guys are fine ahead of McCarthy, but I feel like he should be. Some of these guys should be down here, namely Kirk Cousins, and Russell Wilson should be up there, and Kirk Cousins should be down here, like just ahead of Joe Flacco. As much as I love Kirk, I was a Kirk guy, so don't. And this is this is my opinion after being a Kirk guy for so long. I think JJ should be the top of tier 4. Everybody else should go fuck. I mean, do we got the the explicit warning logo up? We don't, but that's okay. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about these tiers? Do you think Sam Darnold is rated a little bit too low, down at 20 after what he did last year? Definitely Cousins is washed. Wrong Achilles, right? The one that the one that he wanted to wasn't the one he popped. So yeah, he is definitely washed. Well, like I said, we'll give these young guns the benefit of the doubt just because they got it seasoned, but and there you have it, guys. I hope you guys had a great freaking 40 minutes live hanging out with me. If you guys got any topics or any ideas that you guys wanna chit chat about before we go, because there's a lot of hot takes reviews to do, but I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Mike Sports Vibes, Clinton, Lefty, you guys are freaking top tier in my books. Let's be real. Let's read some of these super chats before we go. Or not super chats. What the fuck? I'm not that good. Let's go. Talking that talk. Mike Sports. JJ has to be perfect before people give him credit. Yeah, 1,000%. Let him sleep on him. I wouldn't agree. And let's see here. Oh man, I can't wait for the regular season. Definitely his completion percentage when we're talking about his college days, mature beyond his years. Yeah, B-Flow is definitely a godsend. Lefty was in the house. This is a good point here. Brady played smart, not a great physical talent, but elite between the ears. And I feel like McCarthy has some of that, and with a little bit of guidance from KOC, maybe he can create maybe 10% of what Tom Brady has. Maybe he can cultivate some of that in JJ. And maybe I'll take 10% of what if he inherits 10% from fucking KOC. I'd love that, man. That'd be huge for him. Let's see here. What quarterback? Mike Sports Vibe with a great question here. What quarterback would you compare JJ McCarthy to right now? Going into this season, I feel like he's a little bit Bo Nix, maybe a little Drake Mayish. A little bit of a two different spectrums there, two different ends of the spectrum there, if you think about it. May definitely not the Bo Nix definitely kind of style of quarterback, but somewhere in the middle of there, those probably two guys, mixed bag of there. He's not quite anyone. I'm hoping that JJ McCarthy's work ethic proves to be where I think it is, or maybe even 10 times where I'm hoping it is, because that's going to be a massive factor for us as Vikings fans and for our chances of winning Super Bowls in the future. We're gonna see that, right? How hard did he work, right? Like, so I expect a lot of his ability to read defenses. I expect a lot more poise in the pocket, a lot more comfort, control. I don't expect. I expect him to be vocal as much as JJ is, as much as anybody else is on the offense, even KOC to himself, because he's been there. He's watched Sam Darnold do what he did last year, right? And he was there for all the quarterback meetings. He was there he was able to pick I'm assuming he was able to pick Sam Darnold's brain. Oh my God, our quarterbacks coach from last year. I'm totally brain farting right now. Anyways, I'm so bad. But either way, I'm expecting that he did a lot of research and kind of like picking in, like, what was like to come in with so much expectations. What's it like, when the speed is a lot fat, like all these things that the questions that like we would never have. I'm assuming that he's taken all of last year to really pick KOC's and Sam Darnold's, and then just kind of be there to learn as much as we can, just based on the work ethic that I have kind of gathered through social media posts and through everything that we've heard through reporting. So that's the biggest thing that I'm hoping for. So yeah, I don't know if there's really anybody to compare him to, but those two guys were the ones. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I am definitely ready to golf when we get there. What let me know what tea time, like what time you want to set a tea time for. I don't know what time Skullfest is gonna be, but yeah, I hope you guys make it out there. Man, you guys were freaking banging in the freaking chat today. You guys are killing it. Thanks so much for hanging out. Oh, Lefty said something about Jordan Love in here, and just to wrap up, where is he? Jordan Love. I will argue for Baker Mayfield, because I am a Baker Mayfield fan. I just love his grit. From the moment that he grabbed his crotch at the end of that game in college, and just that fire that he, you know what I mean? Like, I come from the MJ era, okay? I like a cocky trash talker, alpha male kind of drill sergeant, like in your face type of guy, like Michael Jordan, right? And Baker Mayfield, in that moment, that's what I felt. I felt, oh yes, he's got that bravado, he's cocky, he's that confident in himself. And from that moment on, I was like, I'm sold. I like this kid. I can't wait to see. And when he went through, though, I was excited for when he came out in Cleveland, and all that went down. But tier 2, I feel like he's earned it. Don't you guys think? Like, he did quite a good job. Maybe Lefty will be sold after this year when he continues to do the same in Tampa Bay. But Jordan Love, man, can we stop gaslighting this guy and telling him that he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback? Did you guys see that first drive in last week's game? Buddy, the accuracy on that guy, like, did you not sit behind A-Rod and learn anything? Not even just through watching, because I know A-Rod doesn't like to teach and wasn't gonna be there for freaking Jordan Love's development and whatnot. But can you not like watch and be like, oh, when freaking A-Rod throws a freaking quick fucking slant pass, he throws it up and away, or ahead of the defender, so that the receiver can catch it here, instead of catching in the numbers where the defender is going to be wrapping his body, and where there's a chance that the guy can get, just knock the ball loose, right? What does Jordan Love do in a third and out situation, or 3 and out situation, third down? He throws it in the numbers, right? The guy, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what year is this? And you're making mistakes that first-year quarterbacks were making. Like, what is going on in Green Bay? Can we please stop gaslighting this man? This guy has no fucking business being gaslit this hard into thinking that he deserves to be a freaking top tier quarterback. God damn, man. Like, maybe he'll finally change my mind this year. Because the last 2 years I've been thinking, oh, this year, he might do it. And then he loses the fucking the Raiders that year 2 years ago. He loses to, like, some of the most garbage teams, and oh no, it's whatever. They had their number any given Sunday. Then last year, what did he do? I don't get it, guys. You guys tell me in the chat what is up with the NFL and people just gaslighting Jordan Love up. Is it the Green Bay Packers effect? Because I don't get it. It's stupid as all hell. But on that note, we're going to leave it there. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me on this live. I will see you guys tomorrow. We're back into football swing of things. We're going to be trying to get into a daily live. We're going to be doing just shows like this, little daily sports shows. Maybe they'll be in the morning, maybe they'll be in the evening, depending on my work schedule, but we will get them out for you. On top of that, we're going to be still doing our prediction videos. I don't know if we're going to be doing the mind reader crystal ball. That might be last year's thing. We might do a whole different schematic or different layout for predictions. That we'll still do some power rankings for fun. We're going to be doing a preseason NFC North power ranking. Tomorrow, I'm going to go over, I want to go over the NFC North in general and finish off with a prediction on each team and their NFC standings like I did at the beginning of last year. That way, I can have something to compare to see where we end up, right? So thank you so much, guys. Skol. I'll see you guys later.